Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to our channel where we dive into the hidden dramas and fascinating power plays inside the British royal family. Today we've got a story that might just leave you speechless, one involving none other than Princess Anne, the ever-watchful aunt, stepping in to save young Princess Charlotte from what some insiders are calling a quiet palace sabotage. It's a tale of whispered plots, delicate family loyalties, and the kind of discreet intervention that rarely makes it to the public eye. If you enjoy uncovering the real, often messy world behind those gilded palace doors, please give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps us reach more royal watchers like you. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a juicy royal update. Now, settle in, because this story has more layers than one of Camilla's extravagant hats. It all began with something that, on the surface, seemed like just another typical royal engagement. Princess Charlotte was set to appear at what was meant to be a gentle, carefully managed family event, one of those charming outings designed to ease the younger royals into public life. After all, Charlotte's poised, lively spirit has already won hearts across the world. She's that delightful blend of her mother Catherine's elegance and her father William's grounded warmth. The plan was simple. Charlotte would deliver a brief speech, exchange a few gracious words with the gathered crowd, and then slip back under the protective wings of her family. Nothing dramatic. Or so it seemed. But if there's one thing Princess Anne has learned after a lifetime inside the monarchy's delicate machinery, it's that trouble rarely arrives trumpeting its own presence. Instead, it creeps in quietly, through tiny details most would overlook. And that's exactly what tipped her off. And began to notice odd discrepancies. The cards Charlotte was meant to read from, they weren't written in the familiar hand of the usual royal aides. Little notes seemed to have been inserted by someone else, subtle enough that perhaps only a seasoned eye would spot them. Then there were the seating plans. Initially, Charlotte was supposed to sit snugly beside her parents, but a revised chart showed her slightly apart, positioned almost as if to emphasize her standing alone. And the lighting? A professional tweak that meant the bright spot would cast sharp, unforgiving shadows precisely where Charlotte was to stand. Now to an outsider, these might seem like trivial alterations. But in the high-stakes theatre of royal appearances, where symbolism is everything, small shifts can be loaded with meaning. Princess Anne recognized the pattern immediately. She'd seen these subtle tactics before, carefully engineered setups that could throw even a confident adult off balance. Imagine the impact on a child just learning to navigate the merciless scrutiny of the global press. And didn't voice her suspicions publicly. That's not her style. Instead, she started doing what she's done for decades, taking quiet stock. She meticulously documented each irregularity in her private diary, detailing handwriting comparisons, seating revisions, lighting diagrams. This was no paranoia. This was decades of lived palace experience telling her, something here does not add up. Behind all this, palace rumors suggest the long shadow of Queen Camilla. Whispers floated through the gilded corridors that certain aides, long aligned with Camilla's circle, were behind these last-minute tweaks. Nothing overt, nothing anyone could point a finger at without sounding conspiratorial. But Anne wasn't about to let history repeat itself, because she'd seen these very tactics before, employed years ago to undermine Catherine, Princess of Wales, in the early days of her public life. Back then, it had been minor wardrobe advisories designed to clash with expected backdrops, or subtle stage adjustments to prompt awkward moments under the cameras. And back then too, Anne had intervened discreetly. She'd never sought credit, never leaked stories to the press. She simply acted to restore balance. This time, the stakes felt even higher. Charlotte isn't just another young royal, she represents the very future of the monarchy, a living embodiment of the legacy that both William and Catherine have carefully built in the aftermath of decades of scandal and tabloid storms. A slip here, a nervous stumble there, could provide exactly the sort of fuel certain corners of the media love headlines that write themselves: Royal Tot's awkward speech, future queen in crisis. It wouldn't matter that Charlotte is just a child. The press can be merciless, and once a narrative starts, it's hard to claw it back. Anne knew it was time to act. And true to her understated reputation, she chose precision over spectacle. One evening, carrying her carefully compiled folder of original and altered plans, she paid a private visit to the senior aide responsible for coordinating the event. No entourage, no fuss. Just Anne, her documents, and her signature calm intensity. She laid the speech cards, seating revisions, and lighting notes on the aide's desk without a word, then simply asked, "Is this really how you wish to be remembered?" It wasn't a threat, it was a piercing reminder of legacy. The aide, visibly rattled, offered clumsy excuses about last-minute logistical needs. And didn't press for confessions. She didn't need them. She gathered her papers and left, leaving the aide to stew in the knowledge that they'd been silently but unmistakably put on notice. By the next morning, subtle changes rippled through the palace staffing. The aide in question was quietly reassigned to a harmless department well outside the core of royal event planning. Another close associate found themselves heading abroad under the guise of routine diplomatic rotation. No public announcements, no splashy headlines. Just the quiet rearrangement of chess pieces on a very old board. And then personally oversaw the restoration of the original event plans. Charlotte's speech notes were returned to their trusted form, her seat was placed back beside her parents', and the lighting cues were adjusted to bathe her in warm, flattering light. All was set for the day to unfold exactly as intended, not as someone else's shadowy agenda had hoped. And so, when the moment came, the world saw none of this backstage drama. They only saw a radiant young princess step forward, deliver her short remarks with steady poise, and smile with genuine warmth at the applause that followed. Cameras clicked, royal watchers swooned, and somewhere off to the side, Princess Anne stood silently, her face as composed as ever. It was only later, back in her private quarters, that Anne let the tension slip. She made a final note in her diary, describing how Charlotte's voice had held strong, how her eyes hadn't flickered with confusion or fear. She owned the moment entirely, and wrote, "And she'll never know how close it came to being taken from her." Many might wonder why Anne didn't simply tell William. Surely Charlotte's father, the fiercely protective future king, had every right to know that someone had tried to sabotage his daughter's first major step into public royal life. But Anne understood something that perhaps only decades inside the monarchy could teach. If William had found out, his reaction would have been swift, righteous, and potentially explosive. He would have confronted aides, likely escalated matters up to his father the king, perhaps even let it spill into the press in outrage. But such a confrontation would not have stayed a neat internal affair. It would have splashed across tabloids in garish headlines, painting pictures of palace chaos, of a monarchy fractured behind closed doors. And worst of all, it might have left Charlotte questioning herself, wondering if her triumph had only come because her father stormed in to fix things, wondering if she was truly as capable as she'd felt standing on that stage. And silence wasn't secrecy. It was strategy, born of profound love for her niece. By handling it alone, she preserved the illusion that Charlotte had done it all by herself, which in the end, she truly had. The sabotage never landed. Charlotte's confidence remained unblemished, her father's pride undisturbed, and the monarchy's public image stayed as serene as ever. What's so striking is that this isn't some isolated instance of Anne's quiet guardianship. Those close to the palace know she's done it before, for Catherine, for lesser-known family members, perhaps even for William himself in his more vulnerable years. And has never needed the spotlight to do her work. Her power lies precisely in not flaunting it. Think about that. In an institution built on grandeur, processions, trumpets and televised coronations, sometimes the strongest safeguard is the silent one, the aunt with her notebook, her calm confrontations, and her deep instinct to protect not just individuals, but the institution itself. So what do you think? Should stories like this be made public more often? Or is the quiet stability of the monarchy best maintained by keeping these silent wars and private rescues forever behind palace walls? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you see Princess Anne as the real backbone of the family? And if you enjoyed this insider glimpse into how the royals truly operate, please remember to like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because sometimes the most powerful moments in royal life are the ones no one ever hears about until now.